Hi, I'm Ellie. I just wanted to tell you my story about my husband, Danny Davis, from Indianapolis, Indiana. He moved to Florida and he became a runner, and his dream was to run an ultra marathon. So instead of going small with 30 miles, he went for the whole 100. His longest run before the 100 was 26 miles, and so I guess go big or go home. Here's our story of the do's and don'ts, our struggles, our fun, our happiness, the whole race. We had a crew of me and a 17-year-old young man named Bailey Moore. I consider him my little nephew, and he's a runner. So I think we had a pretty awesome crew, a good cheer team, and here's some tips, tricks too that will hopefully help you get through your race. I wish that I would have thought of all of these great things that we learned along the way, because they would have really helped us, but I'm happy to help you, so good luck!
Dude, I can't wait to feed those tarpon.
Going up the skyway, heading towards the Keys. That's exciting. Look who's starting in the front next to the winner of the race. Good job, honey. Love you, have fun! Alright, here we are starting the race. Getting super excited. Me and Bailey wondering what in the world we got ourselves into. Just a few miles in. Beautiful photo op. Saved a little alligator in the back of the water. For the back of our car, make sure you bring tape, because this is necessary. Because how are you going to get that to stick on there? And they don't provide tape. Some goodies in our car bag. See the watermelon stick I cut for him? That's what I'm talking about. Easy to take and chuck, and good for a throat. Bad chaos. Look at all these cars.
Let's go, Danny! Let's go, Dan! Let's go, Dan!
Yeah. Just in case. It's always good to have.
I wonder if they get messed up mile markers that they have.
You want a cold rag? Do you want to switch out? It's Gatorade.
Cold?
Yeah.
Put this one on. That's the one. That watermelon is perfect. Don't go 7 miles.
Okay, I'm going to step in 2 miles. At the end of 87, not at the
They've
beginning.
opened
At
already.
the end of 87, not the beginning. Good job, honey.
Keep pushing.
Remember, that's where I'm meeting you. Next one. This is fun, right? Right, few things that we took in the car with us for food were things that, of course, my husband loved. And one of the things is watermelon. Not only is watermelon cold, watery, and refreshing, it also kept him really hydrated. And it was just something nice to eat and easily digestible, and it kept his belly full and didn't make him sick. So I took a watermelon and I cut it in half, and then you cut it this way and then you cut it this way, and it makes these really long squares, and you can see them in my video that they were really easy for him to eat. He would just pick it up and chomp on it, and because it's good to the earth, it's not so bad if you chop it down, because something out there in that dirty heat is going to want to eat the core of the watermelon. Variety is really important. About 70 miles in or so, I believe, he got to the point where nothing tasted good. Water, he kept saying, I need a new water, I need a new water. And I would ask him finally, why? Why do you need a new water? I just seen you a mile and a half ago, and I just gave you water. He's like, well, there's something wrong with it. And I tasted it and there wasn't. I think he just got to the point where nothing tasted good and everything was gross. Gum was something nice that he could have that was real minty, and it kind of changed something in his mouth where he felt a little better. Having multiple items, like we brought like 4 different types of kind granola bars, as well as Nutri-Grain bars. I made these power bars that I always make that are all natural. Just having like a super big variety of things for your runner is super important, because you gotta change things up to make the time pass a little faster, because it is a long time, 25 hours and 57 minutes long. So again, with that, just bringing a variety of things is going to be key to success for everybody. Doing work.
Oh yeah.
Keeping us straight. Okay, so do's and don'ts. First thing, I started off with the list, and it said to meet my runner in 1.9 miles. So here I am trying to figure out where in the world 1.9 miles is, and the sign that says Mary's freaking flower shop or something, and I am already tripping because I'm looking for my runner, and now I gotta find Mary's flower shop and park across the street from it. It was terrible. So about 30 miles in, my crew member, which is only 17, is like, Ellie, why don't you use the trip meter? Duh, like, why didn't I think of that? So trip meter, crucial. Coolers. We brought one humongous cooler, and then we brought another small cooler for ice that we were going to put into our mouths. Our hands were in and out of that cooler so often that we probably would have gotten like dysentery if we would have eaten the ice that was in the big cooler. So 2 coolers, super important. Drawers, those Rubbermaid things that have like the 3 drawers in them, we brought one of those. We kept all of the things that were small that could get lost in the car in them, and we marked on the front of each one what was in it with a big huge sticker and a Sharpie. And then inside I put little baggies with each thing that needed to go in them, like our Gatorade packs, our Gatorade lights, our Band-Aids, any of those things that I could like get lost in the bottom of the drawer. I kept in little baggies. And then all right, 74 mile marker. Exciting. That's what his toes looked like right when he started getting the blisters. About 30 miles in, I believe. Right before we got on the 7-mile bridge where we had to do our night box, that was one of the reflectives that I made him for his feet and his hands, and you'll see in another picture how important those reflectors are. The beautiful key deer that you're not allowed to feed. But look how beautiful. The night sky when it got super scary and dark. My son's words of wisdom. Run hard like an impala from Zimbabwe. See how bright those reflectors are? And the whole crew has to wear them as well. And that's him with the reflectors. Do you see how important and how dark it is for a car to be able to flash their lights on you with that? That's when Bailey was out like a light right before we had to wake him up to run with Dan. Those are those great pieces of watermelon that I cut into chunks, and the wash rag that you put on your head. Not wet, but cold. Bailey coming over a long bridge with Dan, getting closer and making it to our pit stop. This was the place that you had to run down, and the stop is on the inside of there. It was really hard to notice the aid station, but it was the best aid station there was. So don't miss that one. It's in like a parasailing place or something. Not parasailing, but they do like water skiing or something. It's very cool in there. Make sure you stop there. On the 7 Mile Bridge, he thought he was going to run the whole thing, and you see the little hat where it's flapping behind him, keeping the sun off of his neck. And he also wore a camelback. Camelback was a great option for us, and fuel belt too, just in case he didn't have enough water. We were concerned about that because it was super hot. See that bridge? There's nowhere else to run other than the very side. Not the right side, but do you see the left side where the little cones are? That's the space you get to run in. So if you don't make that before dark, which not a lot of people did, you make sure that you have reflectors on. Reflector, lights, super important. So again, the 7 Mile Bridge, by then my husband was ready to have something like lovely to eat, and so he asked for pizza. Well, I thought, okay, I'll go get you some pizza. So here we go, off on a hunt for pizza. We passed the gas station. 15 miles later, finally a pizza place, which was the absolute first place that we could have hit, and it took forever to get there. I also went to a Tom Thumb, which was right down there from the pizza place, and then went and got the pizza. I got back, parked on the shoulder, like down a little beach access, got a phone call from like Hollywood, California, and it's my husband on the phone. He sounded panicked. He was tripping. Where are you? I can't find you. And there, after the 7 Mile Bridge, this is a must you need to write down. On the right side is like a parking access. On the left side, you have to go down a little bit, and then there's a big hill, and there's a whole beach access. You need to tell your runner that's where you're going to be. If you park on the right side, your runner literally has to cross 2 lanes of traffic and then back. After your runner is already tired, mentally and physically exhausted, now you have to run across traffic, and mind you, I mean, it's like car. It's not like you have time to run across. I mean, you're going to get run over. And so, park on the left side. Your runner's going to have to run down a little hill, but at least you could probably save your runner's life that way. So another great thing that we thought of was bringing a chair for our runner and an umbrella. It's really brutally hot out there, and having an umbrella to put over the chair for when he sat down, because he's in the sun the whole time. There's no shade there. I mean, before you know it, you're already past a tree that gave you this inkling of shade. And so having a little bit of shade when your runner comes is pretty important, as well as for yourself. I mean, you're waiting a long time sometimes for your runner to come to the car. So having a little tiny bit of shade is going to be just your happiness, I promise. There is a little bit of wind from the bay breeze coming through the island, and that's going to help you a little bit, but shade is key. I mean, that is just all there is to it. Bailey is screwing me in. Pacing him right now. Way down there. That bridge was massive. Sorry, I'll fix traffic. So let's talk about aid stations. There's a lot of young people at these aid stations. They have no clue as to what you're going through. They don't have a lot of compassion, because unless you've done this, you have no clue as to what I'm going through, I promise. And again, these are young people, and so, you know, they think they're there just for these runners to come in and pick up drinks or goodies or snacks or whatever. And, you know, they give you some words of kindness sometimes they don't. You know, let them know what you need. I mean, you just gotta throw it out there. If there's something you want and you don't see it, ask for it. You know, just be kind to them. They're young. You know, they're volunteering their time, and you know, hopefully they're learning what love for running is. And if you treat them well, then you know we're gonna have another long line of runners, and hopefully they'll do their kids the same way. And you know, just again, being nice is a really great thing. You know, everybody likes for someone to be nice to them. So just remember that whenever you're feeling grumpy and poopy and you want to choke somebody, take it out on the pavement. You know, just kick rocks, do what you got to do, but don't be mean to people, because we're all out there to help you, and that's key to everybody's success. The race marshals were awesome. I give them 2 thumbs up. I mean, they were all really awesome. I didn't have a bad ordeal with none of them. They were all out there looking for runners. They were out there making sure everyone was stimulated. At the very end of the race, when it was dark, everybody was tired, struggling. They pulled up to each runner, well, at least in front of me, and made verbal contact with them. And that was awesome. I mean, they're tired. They're running around trying to keep track of everybody, and these are long miles that they're going back and forth trying to make sure everybody's safe. And so they're human too, you know. They just did a fabulous job, and they were recognizable, and that was important. Okay, again, crucial, sunblock. The Neutrogena sunblock is the one that I chose, and it is the kind you can spray on when you're sweaty or wet. That one works really good for me. I live in Florida, and so when I'm out on the trail riding my bike, my back is exposed, and I can be so sweaty and spray that stuff on, and somehow it works. Bug spray, you need to bring bug spray. Unfortunately, again, the no-see-ums, that thing whips them little suckers, but there's a lot of freaking mosquitoes, and they're like giant size there. Also, the ground is filled with red ants. Make sure you're not in a place where red ants are, because when they bite you, holy cow, and then for a week later you have this little white bubbly thing on your foot, and it hurts, and then it itches, and then you go through burn. I mean, it's just, they're mean, but don't kill them, because they're bugs and they may have a family, so be nice to the bugs. Chapstick, SPF chapstick, again, is important. So many people out there had like blistery lips. You got to take care of yourself out there if you want your body to take care of you. An SPF hat, these hats are like $30 to $60, and smarty me, because I'm a frugal girl and a smart girl, I got this on Wish, the Wish app again. This $30 to $60 hat cost me a whopping $5, which you'll see in my video. My husband has it on just about the whole time. It has these little flaps that are removable if you want to take it off. They snap on super easy. It also has a face mask part for that buggy part if you don't want to wear one of those bug net hats. It has a huge long bill on it, so it didn't have to wear sunglasses, and he wears sunglasses everywhere he goes. And it's nice and airy and vented, so you know, keeping cool is important.
Let's go, Danny. Here. She's looking for it. Come here. Come here.
Where's my stick? So taking care of yourself. You don't really think of yourself too much during this whole race time, because your mind is so busy trying to figure out where your next stop is and where your runner is and what you need to get out next, and if you have to pee and you got to find a bathroom. Make sure you know where every single bathroom is if you're a potty girl. Boys have no problem, they can whip it out anywhere, no big deal. Girls, on the other hand, this is some hard stuff, because like I said, there's not bathrooms or gas stations for miles apart from each other. So knowing where those bathrooms are, especially after the 9 o'clock
o'clock mark where there's already hardly anywhere to go. Now there's hardly nothing open, literally. And everywhere you go, there's like woods and there's little things creeping in there, and you can see eyes and everything. And so it's really scary. And you know, who wants to pee in the middle of nowhere where it's scary? So again, knowing where the bathrooms are is key. Circle those suckers, mark them in pink. I mean, know where your bathrooms are. Let's see. You got to remember that this is a 1 or 2 lane highway. Getting in and out sometimes is really hard. Keys are busy. It's a busy place. And this past one was right before Memorial Day weekend, was the next weekend. And I don't know if it was just crazy busy because of that or what, but there are a lot of freaking people there. So getting in and out of the highway is hard. So staying awake and alert is going to be really important. People drive really fast down there, even though the speed limit is like 45, and there's cops everywhere. Just mind you, do the speed limit because they are unforgiving and they are relentless. They want to give you a ticket, I promise. So do the speed limit. And there are lots of photo ops there. There are some beautiful places. If you are a picture taker or you are a yoga poser or you just love to take pictures, you better have some film ready because there are some major opportunities down there. There are some places where you can do some beautiful yoga poses on right off into the water where there's like big trees that have fallen over or big rocks with trees hanging over. It's just beautiful. So make sure you take those opportunities, park where they are so that you have the opportunity to get those pictures because this is also your vacation. You have to remember that, and taking every opportunity is important. One of the other really cool things was the iguanas. There are freaking iguanas the size of your leg. I mean, they're huge. And anytime you can see one, take a look at it. I mean, where else are you going to go and see an iguana on the side of the freaking road? And these aren't like little babies, little cuties. These are like mamas. And they're freaking awesome. And they eat fruit. I don't know if you're supposed to feed them. But I'm not going to say I did or didn't, but they're awesome. Same with the key deer. Oh my gosh. We went to get pizza, and as we were like driving up the little pathway, there was a little deer, and the key deer are super tiny compared to regular deer, and they're like little angels, and they walk so handsomely, and they're just little beautiful creatures, and they let you get pretty close to them, and you're not supposed to feed them. I didn't feed them. They are just little precious, the sweetest, cutest little things. You're going to love them. So look out for them. And you also have to watch for them in certain places because they cross the highway. And can you just imagine your race being ruined by someone speeding down the highway where you're only supposed to be going 35 miles an hour and hitting a deer? I mean, that would be detrimental to your whole race. So do the speed limit, watch for deer, look for iguanas, and you'll be super successful and have a really great time.
Lori, are you ready?
Sophie lost her stick. Something that I want everybody to remember is some of the runners, they run unsupported, which means they don't have a crew. Can you imagine running 100 miles without a crew or just some type of mental stimulation or emotional support? At the very end, I didn't really understand what unsupported was until I got to meet some people that makes me emotional just because I can remember just their faces when I would talk to them. I could tell they were in pain, and the beautiful thing about it is that when I thought my husband was struggling so bad, I seen other people struggle, and although my husband said he wasn't going to make it, I seen these other people going through the same thing, so it gave me hope. I wanted to save them all, but I learned that from my very own runner that this is a part of the process, and it's a beautiful part of the process. It just shows you how strong you are and how much
much you have to give in yourself. And when you think all is lost and something happens, which can be that one little person that tells you, good job, you're looking strong, or you look like you just started, or gosh, you're looking great, or just anything, just some kind of kind word, or offer them a water. I mean, take a few extra little goodies. It never hurts to be kind. So with that being said, in my emotional craziness, help the unsupported people, even the people that have support. Say nice things to them. Offer them goodies. You may have something that they really would like to have, and you could be their key to success. I mean, can you imagine being a part of somebody accomplishing their dream? A girl told me that it was all the little things that made up one big thing, and just me giving her one little goodie or letting her wash her hands in my cold water was one of the little things that helped her finish her race, and that means everything to me. Alright, so let's go over our clothes shopping. Of course, if you purchase new things, wear them before your race, because if they make you chafe, blister, any of that, you're going to be super pissed. Shirts, lightweight, light color. You have to remember that you are less than 5 feet from a car. If it is daytime, nighttime, you want to be the brightest mother out there, because if they don't see you, they're going to run over you. I mean, there were multiple times that I've seen runners at night get sideswiped and whooshed away and screaming and yelling at the cars. They can't hear you, they're already past you, and it's because they didn't see you. I mean, why would you wear a dark blue shirt at night when you're running next to a car? I mean, hello? So, bright shirts, lightweight, long sleeve if you can. They have lots of nice options with water wick or whatever, wicking away. I don't know what they're called. But, and shoes. As many shoes as you can bring. Socks. Bring every pair of socks you own. The ones you've worn. Don't bring brand new socks. Shorts. Bring a couple pairs of shorts and underwear. And the way to pack these, the best way, if your runner runs in and tells you, give me the white long sleeve dogfish shirt, you want to make sure that that shirt is rolled to where the dogfish tackle part is showing, because I mean, you're going to be going through shirts trying to figure out which one it is, and if you don't get the right one, your runner's going to be pissed. And if you've taken too much time and he finishes 7 minutes behind the time that the third person finishes, and now he's fourth and doesn't get a trophy because you were late, he's going to be pissed. So you make sure that you roll everything to the outside. If he wants the blue pair of shorts with the white stripe, by God, you make that white stripe show, so you know exactly what you're giving your runner. 2 watches. My husband is a timed runner. He likes to run 4.5 minutes, walk a minute. That's what works best for him. So having 2 watches was a great thing. He has the Garmin and he loves it. I don't have a Garmin, so unfortunately he had to use my TomTom. This is the best watch ever. For me, he hates it, but I showed him how to use it many times, and unfortunately he didn't listen to me, and knowing how your things work before you go on this long journey is imperative to your happiness. I choose this watch because you can pop this out and put it in multiple colors of this. I have this in every color you can think of because I'm a matchy girl. My husband is simple, and he likes the Garmin because it's simple. Needless to say, know your stuff. Know how to work everything that you're going to be using on your race. And you take your chargers, and when you're like he's using his Garmin, I was charging my TomTom. Whenever he's using the TomTom, I was charging the Garmin. And also having a plug-in thing where you can charge things in your car, or even having one of those things that you can plug a plug into is really nice. So that was a good part of our long bridge. 7 miles long. Okay, so there's this place called Hell's Tunnel. Literally, it's Hell's Tunnel. It is a these great things, bug net hats. And so with that being said, I'm gonna look like an idiot, but I want to share this with you because this may save your poor runner's day. So my poor husband went through this terrible Hell's Tunnel, sweaty and sticky, and as he's running, there are bugs everywhere, and they're sticking to his face. They are live bugs wiggling around, like trying to get off the sticky part of him, and of course they can't. So, bug hats. We bought these on Wish. Wish is a great place to purchase things, and I'm going to go over that with you guys in a little bit. Again, these are bug hats, and super easy to put on and off, and they will save you from losing your freaking mind. If you are not a bug person, which my husband is not, you'll want to put that on before the whatever that tunnel's called, Hell's Tunnel. And also, if you are part of the crew, you're going to want to wear one too, because the no-see-ums are brutal. The bugs there are like super bugs. There are red ants, and they're everywhere. They're on the ground all over the place. Don't step on them. They have a family, and you're in their territory. Just remember that kind of bugs. No-see-ums, they're like wings with teeth. You hardly see them, but boy, you feel them suckers. And you look down, there's like a speck of pepper on you, and you're like, what the heck is that? And you flick it off, and then you have this terrible looking bite on your leg for the next month. There unfortunately is no getting away from the no-see-ums. Bug spray don't even help. But bringing bug spray is going to, okay, so 7 Mile Bridge. It's time to, after the 7 Mile Bridge for my husband anyway, that's when it was time to start with this night box. Night box is important. Make sure you set aside a night box with all the things that you're going to need for nighttime in it. At 7:30, you have to have your reflective gear on and all of your lights. You're supposed to have 360-degree reflective gear. We did, and with that, make sure your runner has something that is going to set him apart from everyone else, because there are people running all over the place, and although don't see a bunch of them in one cluster, you still, a couple of them come, and to have everything ready is important for your runner. It may not seem like that as you're doing it, but when you're done, you'll realize how important it was that you had everything prepared and ready for when your runner come to the car. So with that being said, what my husband had, he had on a reflective vest with the little lights in the front and the back, the white and the red. We did a little hat, a light, and then he had shoe lights, red shoe lights. Every runner, I mean, I could see a mile down the road, and the only way that I could identify my runner was that he had those red lights on his shoes. So do something different. Don't you do the red lights, because that's my idea. So pick something that is going to make your runner stand apart from everyone else, so you know when they're coming. Also, headlamp. You need to have a headlamp, a flashing headlamp, so that people notice you. Again, you're 3 to 5 feet from the cars. I mean, you're so close. You're on the little shoulder where if something happens, you can pull your car off, and you're still stuck in the side of the highway a little bit because the shoulder's so small. You want people to see you. Reflective gear is a must. I mean, if you can frickin' put reflective on your forehead, do it. I think I talked about taking care of yourself, but I'm going to reiterate on this. Making sure that you are taken care of, because we're the crew, and if you're not doing well, your runner's not going to be either. So keeping yourself cool is important. I got one of those little neck things that have the beads in it. When you put it in water, it like sucks all that water up and swells up, and so I would put it in the cooler, then take it out and tie it around my neck, and while I was out in the sun, it kept me nice and cool to where I didn't feel like I was going to die. Taking a hat with you, sometimes I enjoy wearing hats, sometimes I freaking hate wearing hats. For those of you that hate it, you're going to have to suck it up today. You need a hat. The sun is blaring, and you're so busy. If you wear sunglasses, you're going to get smudges on your sunglasses. Your nose is going to sweat to death, so just wear a hat if you can. Keep the sun off of your face. Take a pair of tennis shoes, take a pair of flip-flops. You're going to want to be be able to switch whenever you get to the end of the race so you can run in with your runner. Hair ties. Bring frickin' hair ties. You want to keep that hair off your neck if you can. Otherwise, if you accidentally brought a pair of scissors, you might chop it off because you're sweating to death. And just remember, be kind to everyone. We're all there for the same reason, and although it's stressful and people are driving like they're insane and people are in there with big huge vans that they're not used to and can't drive very well, just be patient with them. I mean, they're a little grouchy because they're runners too, and they're probably part of a relay team, and they're struggling just like you are. So just if everybody can be a little patient and smile at each other and give a thumbs up every once in a while, even to the grouchy people, maybe that will break up their grouchiness. So just be kind and take it slow and easy and have a good time. Remember, you're there to help someone accomplish a huge goal in their life. So making it as easy as possible is great. Another great tip is don't load your runner with drama. Don't tell them, yeah, at this last stop, this prick, he freaking blocked me and wouldn't let me out. Your runner don't need to hear that. Your runner wants to hear all of the beautiful things happening in the world and all of the great accomplishments that are happening right now and how fast he's going or whatever it is. They don't want to hear anything about drama. So keep that to yourself. Save your drama for your mama. So unfortunately, not everywhere is marked super good. So you need to be mindful that you have to watch where you're going. There's a lot of switchbacks from one side of the road to the other. And remember, you're tired. So keeping your mind stimulated is going to be important. You don't use your music the whole time. Use it sometimes. Don't take your phone with you every once in a while. Call someone. Let them talk to you. Do whatever you have to do to keep your brain stimulated. If you get lost, you have to remember that you have to track back from where you got lost at and start right there back to the regular track. You can't just chuck it all and head to where you're supposed to be. And there's some really dark places there. So again, that headlamp is going to be super important to you, and keeping your eye out for those signs to where you need to turn or turn around or whatever it is. I mean, there's some kooky places. There's one part where you go under a bridge and you come out on the other side, and I mean, it switches back. It's insane. And so just really being mindful of where you're going is going to be really important to you. All right, so we figured out a few things along the way, which, I should have already known this, as I've traveled a million times and I'm a mother of 5. I didn't really realize that, use what works and do your research. Blisters became a really big problem for us in the very beginning. My husband got some terrible blisters on his feet and is paying dearly for it. It's 5 days post-race and he still has these, enormous blisters like this big on the pad of both of his feet, and he's still in a lot of pain. So do your research on blisters, how to prevent them, not how to take care of them afterwards. You want to prevent those suckers because it's terrible. So with that being said, don't use anything you haven't used before. Use what you know works. Buy socks, or the socks you already have that you run in, use those. You know they work. You know that you've worn them before and these are good for you. It's imperative that you listen to your body and you know what works. So with that being said, we started off him using 2 pairs of socks. I think I told you already he's only run 26 miles before, and that was his longest run. He's always worn 2 pairs of socks with that. So our super good friend John Trapper, which some of you may know, Trapper is a long distance runner, and he's been around for a long time doing these things. So he's kind of like our guru. And he told my husband, that is a no-no. Do not wear 2 socks ever. And it's really important for chafing that, first, also, dry feet is key. I mean, your feet need to be dry. And we used washcloths, which was super imperative as well to my husband's success. We kept the washcloths inside of like a sealed little tub with water and ice, and every time he came up, I should have been wringing them out but didn't realize, and so we would wet him and stick him on his head, and that kept him cool. It was a record high for any Keys race ever. It got super duper hot, and for him to stay cool is really important. So with that being said, all the water was running down, getting into his shoes, and his feet got super wet, and that's another cause of the blisters. So friction and moisture. You want to stay away from that completely. All right. So there's a lot of videos on YouTube on how to prevent blisters. I suggest highly that you watch them. It's not going to hurt, and it may save your runner's race. Now, chafing was a really rough thing for my husband, and I don't know if he really knew that's what was happening, but it was. His bum and his front looked like a baby, a neglected baby. So with that being said, we have this great friend Trapper. John is his name. We call him Trapper. He is like the guru of running. He is a multi-accomplished 100-miler, and he is like the person we go to for everything. He had told my husband that he chafed for one reason and one reason only. We didn't use the proper techniques. We used cornstarch powder to keep my husband dry. It ended up clumping, and again, he had a baby's bottom, a severely neglected baby's bottom. So with that being said, diaper rash ointment is a great one. Sesame oil is very light, but doesn't cause friction. I guess friction is the whole reason of chafing. Vaseline, or there's this terrible stuff called Bag Balm. I used it when I first started riding my bicycle, my tri-bike, because chafing was terrible, and that is all that I could use to make it work, because I thought I was going to die. I either wasn't going to be able to ride that bike or had to find something that worked, and that worked. It smells terrible, but works like a dream. So putting that in a little baggie and stuffing it maybe in your pants, your pocket, wherever you need to stuff it. When you need a little bit of lubrication, just whipping your finger in there and rubbing that stuff wherever it needs to go is the necessary. Staying lubricated is the key to not dying afterwards. So that was something that would have worked well if we would have known about it. So just to reiterate, Wish for bug nets, SPF hat, shoe lights, headlamps, batteries. Keys to not dying is bug spray, sunblock, chapstick, washcloths. Bring your runner's rolling stick. Roll his legs out or her legs out. And yes, they're gonna scream, but it's a necessary. You gotta get all that lactic acid out of there, because holy crap, it's going to help a lot. And then end of race is like, it's the end of the race. We are done, like we made it. We were fortunate. My husband and I have a really good friend. His name's Earl. He has a son named Bailey, and we've known Bailey since he was a little baby, like a baby. And so we've grown up around him, and he's grown up around us, and we've learned to just adore this kid. He's in high school. He is a runner himself. He's in cross country and track, and he just has a love for running. So we asked if he would be part of our crew, and he said yes. So I was lucky enough to have the best crew member. I wouldn't have chosen anyone else ever, and I didn't have one lick of problems with this kid. I mean, he was on it the whole time. He did get tired, which, I mean, so did I, and so I told him to sleep, but the minute I needed him, he was up and ready to go. 8 miles to go, my husband came in kind of crying and said he didn't think he was going to be able to make it. And I told him, yes, you are. And he said, I'm falling asleep while I'm running. I don't know what to do. So Bailey was asleep in the car, and I ran back and I got Bailey, and I was like, buddy, I need you to get up and run with Dan. And boy, he was up ready to go. And the whole time, I mean, mental stimulation, he was chit-chatting, he was reading posts from Facebook. Try to post things on Facebook if you can to get people to write back. That was a really great thing for my husband Dan. He loved hearing all the well wishes and things. It was really cool. Even people he didn't know, because we tagged his family in it, hearing those uplifting words helped him in those last 8 miles when we didn't think he was going to finish. All right, so we're getting towards the end of the race, and the really cool thing about the finish line is that everybody can finish together. Your runner didn't do this on their own. I mean, you guys did it together. Without your crew, you're nothing. So just remember that. And crew, remember, I mean, you have the tools. You are the key to this person finishing their race. And so maybe even people that were uncrewed. Like I said, when you cheer everybody on, it's all the little things that add up to make it one big thing. And so you could have been that smiling face that helps someone you didn't even know cross that finish line. So at the very end of the race, go park your car and have your crew run up to your runner and finish that race together. You go through that finish line together with smiling faces and show your support that you supported that runner that whole entire way. And there's pictures and food and welcoming faces and the water and chairs, and you're just like, woohoo! I mean, you guys did it together, so you'll finish together. And those will be pictures that will last forever. The memories from this race already touch my heart all the time. And my husband and I, we cry about it sometimes, we laugh about it. I said some crazy things in my videos, and so did he. I am sometimes a potty mouth, but not in front of my husband, and he caught me cussing on my videos a couple of times. I mean, go back and watch the videos. Try to document as much as you can, because this is a feat that not many people do. I mean, look up the percentage of how many people have actually ran 100 miles, and you will be astonished. I mean, it's amazing. So, I mean, you're a part of something very, very special. So make sure you keep these memories close to your heart and document it so you can watch it over and over. And, if you think that posting is for you, you should post it, because if you can help somebody do this too, I mean, you're helping someone complete a dream that they have, and everybody lives for their dreams. So it's important. This is the dumbest idea you ever had. This is terrible. Terrible. 3.7 miles. And I'm so done. And I'm not even running. Neither is he.
Little baby jellyfish ran off today. The beautiful sunset about 2.2 miles in. Coming up with baby. Struggling through the death march. A little bit closer. On the way to the finish line. Signs in the back of the car that were necessary for a race marshal. This is fun, right? Was our famous quote for the whole race. It was really fun to yell that out. As soon as he crossed the finish line, going to celebrate with cheers of joy. Poor Bailey's feet. I think that was the longest he's ever ran in his whole life in 24 hours. Smiling on the outside and crying on the inside. What an accomplishment. This man is a 100-mile ultra runner. Okay, so let's talk about recovery. End of the race, you're excited, you're done. You're not thinking. All you're thinking about is getting yourself to the hotel or swimming or going to the beach or whatever it is you're thinking about. You're not thinking about taking care of yourself or your runner. You're thinking about yourself. So, gosh, make a list of stuff you need to do and follow that list. I didn't take care of my poor husband after he was done running. All I could think about is getting my fat ass into that swimming pool and relaxing. I didn't make sure he had a recovery drink. I didn't roll out his legs. I didn't give him a massage. I didn't do anything. I just let him go. I mean, his feet were in so much pain.
all he wanted to do was get into bed and first have a shower. I mean, but me, I should have been the one that thought about all these things, and I didn't. And I'm trained too, not for 100 miles, but I mean, I do this every day almost, and why I didn't think about all these things, I don't know. So making a list is going to be super important for after the race of what you need to do, because all you're thinking about is going to bed. Some kind of recovery drink. Roll out your runner's legs. Make sure you brought blister care. I cannot tell you enough how important it is to watch some videos on YouTube on how to take care of blisters. There's some kind of like moleskin or something. I cannot think of what it's called. Hempapad, or I just can't think of it right now. Do your research. Oh my gosh, you're never ever gonna regret doing your research and knowing what to do for pre-care for blisters, how not to get blisters, and if you do get blisters, how to take care of them. My husband's foot is disgustingly blistered, and it is, let's see, 5 days post-race, and he is still walking on his heels. So needless to say, what you need is some kind of gauze, some kind of wrap to keep the gauze on. You need some kind of cream. You need a lancet. I mean, just like I said, do your research. Do what you think is best. I mean, I know what worked for us, but that doesn't mean it's going to work for you. Try a few different things. Don't do it the day of the race. You'll solely regret that. And just make sure you do your research. That's all I'm going to tell you, is do your research on blisters.
So this is what 100 miles looks like if you have blisters. See those terrible lines at the top? Yes, that's skin tone. But he made it. Got his belt buckle in his middle and still a smile on his face, although he probably wants to cry. 100-mile finisher right there. Danny Davis. We're off on the bikes. No sleep to look for blister care and some kind of recovery. But you can rent bikes in the Keys for pretty inexpensive, about $15 a day, and it is so worth it. The best Mexican food place ever. I think it was on Green Street. You got to go. Do you see that corn right there? I'm not a corn eater, but I could eat more and more of that corn. They also have a great vegetarian option at that place too, plus some really good hot sauces. And we got to see a scooter wreck right in front of us. It was crazy. Bailey enjoying the festival at the end of Wall Street that I still can't remember the name of. The finisher feet. Look at that. 3 stages of pain. I was proud of you.
They probably just scatter.
They don't eat people.
Yeah. They try.
That man ran 100 miles yesterday, you guys, in 25 hours.